Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through!
Evening, educators, tutors, masters and mistresses, and welcome to Fumble Through!
Fumble Through!
A podcast that knows that of all the inventions, whiteboards are the most remarkable. Hello, once again, one and all, and welcome to the Fumble Factory for another installment of that drink beer and watch the wheels fall off show. as a result
and
what?
dad jokes. Don't
And
forget the dad jokes.
And dad jokes as well. As a result of drunken buffoonery and in the spirit of reflection and maturity, I've taken a long, hard look at myself, and I tell you, I did not like what I saw.
Yeah, welcome
and
to
I
our
am
world.
not doing that again. That said, I have identified an area of self-growth, and I believe that I owe two sets of apologies this week. The first is to all the people out there who know the rules. Brett,
who listened to the podcast.
Brett identified this last week after the game, and it became very apparent that I done messed up. Whereats actually have immunity to damage, not resistance to damage, and not just slashing like I thought.
So
that means we're in a far worse situation than we even
It means
thought.
that the encounter becomes a lot more precarious than I first thought. But
Because it wasn't teetering on the edge as it was.
It was a breeze.
But in the true spirit of Fumble Through, and because I do struggle to foreshadow things, which I should have done and would have done the first time you met them in the cave, had I known that, that first time you saw the guards outside, I'm going to play the rules as we established last session, and then we are going to play it properly. Maybe in the future when we encounter these types of creatures, maybe this is a mutant little strain of rats, but I feel it would be remiss.
WEAR.
Yeah, they're wearing rats.
Yeah.
I feel it would be a little remiss of me if I just changed the rules mid-encounter. We've established the rule set. If the encounter had continued, we probably would have played it out that way anyway.
So hang on, so we're sticking with them being only resistant rather than immune? So
Yeah.
they're gluten intolerant.
And-
werewolves.
and-
I
only-
mean, can I say, don't let that bolster your egos,
no,
Eddie,
I know we're still in a big of a jam. I know
because
that.
not one of them has fallen down
No.
yet. So just be very, very mindful that I'm not saying you are now clear to go on a murder hobo rampage, because that probably would not be good. But I'm not going to play your dumbass characters.
I'm already in the middle of a murder hobo rampage.
That's right. But as for the second apology, this one goes to Lindsay.
Oh.
What I did not hear last week was you cry for help and the underlying hurt feelings that you expressed to us, and we jumped all over the top of you. We did not want to make you feel unheard, and from this point, I'm going to actually make an effort to give you the space that you need to express yourself. So,
Don't believe him.
yeah,
Don't
I'm
believe
waiting for the butt.
him. He's
So-
talking.
Look, I'm going to blame it all on the Voodoo Ranger.
To be fair,
And the
I think
heat.
there was a lot going on.
And the heat. There was something in the air last week when that happened, but I
There it is.
reflected on that. I reflected on that, and I was like, no, that was very unfair. The week before, we had expressed that we weren't going to do that, and then literally 1 week later, we're like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," over the top of you. So yes, that's not good. So the rest of this intro is up to you, good sir. Plug those socials, crack that beer, and add any dicey question that you wish.
See,
The
last
floor
week I was prepared for it, though.
is
And now
yours.
you've kind of thrown me under the bus.
we can
Always complaining. Always bloody complaining.
But yes, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You guys may have also started to notice we're doing some occasional stuff on Twitch, which has been a bit of fun and a bit of experimental. So let us know what games you want us to see, etc., etc.
You may enjoy Brett painting. I'm not sure Brett enjoys Brett painting, but Brett's painting.
Is it painting?
Well,
The paint is being used.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's like Blue Man Group.
Yeah. Some would say painting a wall is also painting.
Yeah.
As I actually get my kids every year on their birthday to
Do you
paint.
just once a year you get them?
Yep. So if you want, I can show you the Lorelei's first birthday,
Are you
second
suggesting
birthday,
finger
and third
painting?
birthday painting. No, she uses a brush.
Oh, dry brushing?
Well, not yet.
No.
You even know what that means, Brett?
It's when you're not crying.
But you're not using a wet palette, right?
Oh, is that when you are crying, your wet palette?
But we could compare your first mini
Oh,
against Lorelei's first mini at the age of one.
I think that's unfair.
can I
think
paint better
that's
than a no grader?
Yeah.
Right. All right, let's pile on painting and 5e. Let's go.
Pile on painting and 5e.
So beers?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to
Let's
get
do
my
that. This week's the Rogue, I believe.
The road. One second.
Sitting in the Fumble fridge.
I'm scared
Keeping it
now.
cold.
After last week, I'd like a really...
It'll stab you in the back, this one. Let's get sneak attack on
The
you.
last one just stabbed me in the face, to be perfectly honest.
It was like a punch in the face for all of us. Thank you, Lindsay.
There's the scene there.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you. I'll
quite
pass it on to Brett.
nice.
Thank you.
Let a look at the can.
So
Yeah.
this is
is
by
not
Knuckle
what I
Duster.
expected.
It's a Knuckle Duster cold IPA Indian Pale Ale.
Yeah, boy.
By the Revival Brewing Company, dedicated to long nights and stripped bolts. If you look at, they've got this beautiful thing like it's a star on the can that goes between tropical and malt and citrus and bitter and pine, and it's more into the kind of tropical malt and bitter side of that star, but it's a cool little star.
Weak on the citrus.
It's
That's
kinda
good.
like,
Sometimes they can be too fruity, can't they?
It's kind of like a
Rogue.
So Rogue's the brewing company, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because at Rogue, we are always working on new ideas that break from the norm. This collaboration is no different. Our friends at Revival Cycles in Austin, Texas, also like to push the envelope with their hand-built motorcycles. So teaming up on their new style of IPA that uses a cold fermentation technique just made sense. Knuckle Buster Cold IPA. So that's why it's stripped bolts, right?
I've yet to see, Brett, you bring a can out for us to drink that is below 5.8%. 6.1 on this one.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Look, this one.
6.1.
Wasn't last week 4?
No, 6. Last week's was like 6.8, wasn't it?
To be
Can's
fair-
like that.
Lindsay, I'm sorry in advance.
for what?
Whatever's about to happen.
It's all right.
To be fair, this
Smells
comes from
good.
Texas, so it's fine for pregnant people to drink. There's no pregnancy warning on this one.
And fine for those with no teeth.
And it's only a 5-cent refund, not a 10-cent refund. Opening,
Oh.
Why is it only a 5-cent refund?
because that's Texas.
I like that at the top of the can it says dedicated to long nights and stripped bolts.
Because that's the motorcycle company, right?
I like that.
Handmade
I thought
bikes.
you originally said stripped vaults, and I got really excited thinking it was like a Dungeons.
Oh,
The
I
Rogue
think
and the
maybe we just
Dungeon
need
stripping
to
the.
lock that down on the merchandise.
well, it pours lovely.
It did pour beautifully
And it
well.
smells
fantastic.
fantastic.
I'm scared to
It's got
drink
a-
it.
Well, there's nothing in the star that says citrus. I'm getting it on the nose.
I thought that as soon as I
No,
cracked the
there's,
plate, actually.
there's a
Cracked the
very
can.
small thing. So this is kind of like in
Going in,
games
boys.
where you see like stats and
Yeah,
you can kind of
It's like on COD when you're tailoring your weapons.
So if you see, there's a very little bit of citrus.
Let's cheers to fellas.
That
Yeah,
is a
cheers.
nice colour of that. Cheers. To TPKs.
Oh, I can taste the malt.
Dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh, that's
I
not
mean,
bad.
it is good.
It's
but-
very drinkable.
Yes.
Oh, hello. That,
Do you know it,
give it 5 seconds.
worried now.
Give it 5 seconds.
what? What?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, it's got a pineapple-y.
Yeah, that
for something
citrus
that's not
is.
citrus. It is
Right.
actually quite
It's
citrus.
very citrus smelling as well.
Yeah, I really like this,
I do
but
too.
this is going to ruin me.
You say that. That's like your theme saying.
So describe it. I've had some people
Hashtag be more like
that
Luke,
say
get
that
rid
we
of it.
need to actually spend a bit more time describing because we often have the beers and then they go, oh, that's nice. And then we don't actually talk about the it in intellectual
Okay, so it's got a
capacity.
full-bodied
It's an India Pale Ale, so it's quite clear, a little cloudy, but yeah.
full-bodied, and it's very drinkable as you say, but it's not light. It's quite heavy.
I find it very bitter.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very
Dustin
bitter.
finds it bitter. Must be fucking bitter.
It tastes like home.
Tastes like my counselling sessions.
What, full of blame and shame
And regret.
and
I was
regret.
going to say, yeah.
Isn't this interesting? I'm not really tasting the citrus. I'm
Aren't
tasting
you?
more the malt.
Okay.
I can taste the malt
Well, no.
more in it than
Malt,
Well, to be
malt,
which
fair-
is a higher
To
thing
be
in
fair,
the little
you
stuff.
does.
you have a younger palate, and I'm not being ageist here. It does make a difference, the age of the person's palate. That's why
You think the taste buds on the front of our tongues are fucked, but just the side ones are
My
there?
tongue isn't
the
working
bitter?
at all right now.
Right.
It's gone numb after the 6 minute ones. Can't speak properly. So you're getting the malt.
So as I drink it, I find it's bubbly.
That's good.
Not
Yeah,
like Justin.
That's good. I'm gonna try again. I'm just gonna describe what I taste. You do it first, Luke. So take a sip, shut your eyes. Shut your eyes. Give us a moment. Describe it. There's some ASMR there.
I think
It's
he's falling
very
asleep.
zingy on the palate. There's a buzz, kind of like licking a 9-volt battery.
Oh, okay.
Very briefly. Do you know that kind
That's
of
high
little tingle?
praise.
Do you know what I mean? No, it's not a bad thing. You
Livens you up, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then it feels like it kicks about 5 seconds later. There's this kind of afterflow that kind of just, you go, oh, that's the acid in the battery coming through.
A bit too hard.
What about Lindsay? You've got a young palate. What does your young palate taste?
Okay, so I don't really have
Beer.
beer much.
like
But
for
do you
beer.
know what this actually kind of reminds me of? Like, this is kind of invokes a memory. You know, we were talking about that a while ago.
Is it Cheers or Norm's Tavern?
It reminds me of the very first time I've had a beer
Oh.
when I was probably about 16, and I'm like helping Dad in the yard, and he's like, you know what? Have a beer. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
And you
Is that
didn't
That's
like
really
it.
funny. It doesn't
after a really hard
yeah.
day, and that's like,
No one liked their first beer.
yeah, but you still drank it. But I have grown to like beer. But
There's
like,
lemonade in there if you want to turn it into a
No,
shandy.
I'm good. I'm just saying.
lager top. We got into me and my dad actually got into a little bit of a disagreement the last time they visited about when I had my first beer because they bought it for me, and then when I reminded them of this story and the age that I was, they were absolutely mortified and denied all knowledge that I was the age that I said I was.
Was it double digits at least?
It was double digits.
Okay, good.
Yes.
What age was it?
It was 13.
Yeah, but you're English, so that's fine.
Yeah, I know, but still, they were like, "What? No, you were older than that. You're definitely older than that." I was like, "No, I remember Holston pills."
My mother tells a story about me when I was 3 or 4, and they would have these grand parties with 50, 60 people in the house, and I would always wake up with headaches the next day. And I would walk around the parties just drinking people's drinks. Just, oh, it's on the table, I'll drink that one. Oh, I'll drink that one. I'll drink that one. And I was pissed.
Really?
At 3 or 4. No long-term injuries.
What is that? What's it called? Infant alcohol syndrome.
That's
That's what I get. See, I mustn't have a very sensitive palate. Like, because you know what that is?
Really? Why?
It's bubbly and cold. But what I do know is I don't really, this is not in my wheelhouse. Like I'm a super crisp kind of guy, you know. I'm a very fresh kind of beer, not this heavy hopsy,
See, no, I don't mind
bittery
but
stuff.
you can
I
have
don't like
days where
pale
you're
ales.
happy to sit there and just sip on a pint like that rather than smash 4 super crisps, as you say, that are light and just get them down.
You and I drink for very different reasons.
We know that.
there
We
are
know
super-
there's only one reason you drink.
There are super crisps in the fridge if you don't like the boutique beers that I provide every week, Justin.
I think
I appreciate it.
I honestly think we need to go to somewhere that can teach us what we're meant to be tasting, because I can I just don't drink enough beer to know what I'm meant to be tasting or how to differentiate it. Like
You're fine with whiskey though, right?
Yes, I'm really good at picking out what's in whiskey
Oh, right.
because I drink a lot more of that. But yeah, I drink a lot more of that. But yeah, I really struggle trying to differentiate the differences in beers. So maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to get a little crash course somewhere.
Is there a difference when you guys drink between how much you actually drink? Like, you know, if you drink
Between
it,
each other, or
no, like how much you actually take out of the cup at the time. If you take a small sip, I find it's a different experience than if you take a big gulp. kind of
yes,
thing.
and also with something like this, I wouldn't take a massive gulp
Whoops.
simply because not only is it high percentage, but because it's a heavy flavor. It's a heavy, it's heavy.
You just need enough to coat all of your tongue at once so you can get all of your receptacles
I
working.
have a very big tongue. I don't know why I said that.
Like you, Sarah.
Yeah, wow. Way to brag
No,
about
it's-
your
it's
prowess,
no,
Luke.
no.
Slytherin, I believe.
Parcel tongue.
Hey, whoa. Yeah, I just find it too bitter to do that, to take
Okay.
small sips and...
We
yeah.
did talk.
Really bitter to do.
Yeah, I find it really bitter. Really bitter.
It has got a high in bitter.
Mm.
It is bitter, yeah.
We did talk a while back about moving into ciders through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, recording and release schedules don't align. So it's a hopsy beer as we
Good.
head into winter.
We could say it's a mulled cider,
Okay.
but it's not.
I must say that in response to the comment about not liking, I think we've only really had, from my humble opinion, one that hasn't gone down
yeah.
as well as I would have liked.
No, that didn't
All the
go
beers-
down at all.
Yes.
Like,
My years of training allowed me to drink it.
and everyone else's.
That's true. You soldiered on, didn't you? You pushed through. Everyone else was absolutely
Nah.
gasping.
No. Yeah, that there's another version of that in the fridge.
Is there
that
really?
I'm waiting for guests to come around.
It's time to go home.
This is your night.
He's a traveller.
Have,
Off
a,
you go.
have a drink.
But yeah, when I say I don't like beer, I do drink beer and I find it enjoyable. It's not usually what I would order all the time. Like if I have the choice between like an alcoholic ginger beer or a cider, I would always go that over a beer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the younger palate going for the sweeter flavour for sure.
That's interesting because I have moved away from order. If I go to a pub and they have a cider on tap or a ginger beer, I will go the ginger beer over anything
I love
else.
a good ginger beer.
Yeah.
With lime.
Yeah.
I find that too sweet. There is one I had recently, which we'll have to get some in, which has got, is it yuzu or uzu?
Uzo?
No, not uzo. That's a spit.
No. Yuzu, I think it is.
Like the Japanese
Yeah.
citrus fruits. It's
Yeah.
a ginger beer with the Japanese citrus fruit, and
Ooh.
it is absolutely spectacular.
Okay.
To me, a lot of ciders are too sweet as
Yeah,
well.
here
So
they
I
are.
really
They
like
definitely are in this
crisp.
country.
Well, that's where I got into cider was over in the UK.
Mm.
I really got
much
into it when
very dry ciders
because
in the
Rachel
UK.
lived in the UK for a year, went back and did a year in the UK, and I went over there for Christmas, and I really got into ciders over there.
Shout out to Thatchers. Love your work.
What about a mulled wine? Have you guys ever
I
tried
can't
the
do it.
mulled wine?
Yeah, I've made mulled wine.
Too spicy.
We're just warm alcoholic drinks.
With spices in it.
Well, I don't mind the
I don't
flavour.
like
It's also
It's
not
just the
alcoholic.
warm bit. It is, though, isn't it?
No,
It's
by the time
wine.
you finish,
red wine.
Yeah, but by the time you
Oh,
finish,
yeah,
you've
alright.
cooked it all
But
off.
don't they put cardamom and,
Yeah.
and cloves and shit in there?
I think it's cinnamon.
You know, it doesn't
Whatever-
get cold
whatever
enough
it
here
is.
for that
Yeah,
to work.
it's
at
too
all.
hard.
Yeah. You need a proper frosty climate for that.
I think the last time I drank that was at a very cold medieval fair. It was in the middle of winter. I drank
Oh, I
it
suppose it does
with
get cold,
Mikey. We shared one. It took us an hour to drink it.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
It was, and then
It's
and
a
then a
hard
friend
slog.
of ours saw us from across the bar and brought 3 of them. And we were like, "Oh no, why?"
Look, if I was going to order from a bar right now, I'd be going a gin.
Gin,
a nice
yeah.
gin and soda
Oh,
right now
yeah,
with some
summer.
lime in it
Ginning it
would
up
be
in a bit of-
perfect. Like,
Again, tonic water, yuzu tonic in a gin.
Well,
Too
even
bitter.
just the India Pale Ale is like, it's a good tonic.
Indian Pale Ale.
Indian Pale
Is
tonic
it?
water. India.
Indian Pale Ale.
Oh, fuck
When
you.
you put
Indian
this now
Pale
in
Ale.
with a gin,
I don't know.
you're a gin.
So when I was 3,
So drunk at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But,
Yeah, no, not gin.
Gin
Not-
oh,
don't-
for
do
the
you do
win
gin?
every day, any and every day,
Really?
especially
Gin.
in this climate
Oh.
here, hot weather. Gin
Get-
is the best.
get home on a Friday from work, a nice gin to start the night off, and yeah,
Have you been to? We need to go to Covent Garden. I reckon
make it
you'd
right.
hate it. It's basically a gin bar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll be in.
I've got 4 bottles.
You like
of
gin as well?
So good.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is
and you
can
something for everyone. There is
Too
wall
bitter.
to wall
I have
gin.
blackberry
is bitter
gin at the
for
moment.
me.
Yep.
Really
They do cocktails as well, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. I like
Like
vodka.
gin cocktails, kind of
I
thing.
do like vodka.
Yep.
I love a good vodka.
I don't mind the flavor of vodka, but it gives me a headache every time, no matter how much or how little I drink. It will always give me a headache the next day, guaranteed. It's something.
Look, I found that if you just mix your drinks,
yeah,
then
true.
the headaches are like
Follow up with a
that's,
kebab.
that's about
See,
50
that's-
years of experience.
Yep. Kebab meat and chips for the win.
Yeah.
What I've always wanted to do is drink like the beginning of, I think it is the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, when they first go up to the top of the mountain, there's a big guy and they're having the drinking competition and the girl's there and like he's like, and they're all pissed.
Shot
and
for
then
shot.
5 minutes later, she's fine.
Yeah.
She is fine.
That's an adrenaline drop,
Yeah.
right?
If you guys when we post this on the Dicey Questions on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, if we get 1,000 retweets, re-instas, we'll reenact that scene.
Okay. I'll be the fat guy.
Hang on, I'm worried now. No, I'm thinking the James Bond with the scorpion. Don't worry, it's fine. I'm taking the shots with the scorpion on the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's not fine.
No.
It's not good. Someone will do that.
Good.
And I look around and I go, I've got to be the fat guy.
What?
No, it'll be whoever falls over.
Oh, all four of us have to go shot
Yeah.
for shot. Okay. Righto.
All right.
Sounds like fun.
I got to say, I reckon I'm in for a chance here.
You reckon you're in for a chance?
Yeah.
What are we drinking though? Shots
I
off?
have
I
a
know.
genuine drink.
Tequila.
We'll figure it
Tequila?
out.
I have a genuine drinking problem.
I don't care what we're drinking. I care where we're drinking.
Yeah. Tequila, I haven't ever really engaged with tequila.
Really?
Oh.
With salt and lime.
I've
mate.
engaged somewhat with when I used to work in a cocktail bar with making cocktails and stuff, but I never used to drink back then. So
Very underrated shot, that is.
I was.
Or Sambuca's the other one I would love to go.
Flaming Sambuca.
Black Sambuca.
Oh.
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah, that stays with you though, Sam Walker.
Absinthe.
I've never done absinthe.
Never done it.
Love absinthe.
Okay.
I've never been able to find a place that does the flaming shot though.
The
For
flaming
absinthe?
shot.
Yeah, where they pour it over the sugar cube
Yeah.
and light sugar
Yeah.
cube.
I used to do that at my bar. We used to set the bar on fire regularly. We used to line up the things, put the sugar on the top of
Seriously?
them, and we used to pour it over the top. And we used to light it was like a little bar trick that we used to do because it was a cocktail bar, and we used to light them on fire. My favorite memory ever was a pissed lady who came to me because back in those days you could smoke at bars. She came and you'd always carry a
times.
lighter. And she was so drunk. I went to light a cigarette and she moved over and her entire fringe just up to the top. Just like it just went. And I was like, oh. And she was so drunk she didn't notice, but she would have had a bald spot the next day. And I was just like,
There's probably hairspray and everything on there.
it was like curly, really curly nest type hair too. Like she had a big mop of hair and a lot of it went.
That's gold.
When you were at that bar, you introduced me to a drink that probably is the worst tasting drink that I've ever had. It wasn't chartreuse, it was Bouton, I think.
Bouton was what we had at home.
Was it at home?
Yes, Mum.
Like chartreuse, you introduced me to. And that was a hard
killed
drink.
us.
That was a
What's Bouton?
Bouton is like 54% alcohol. It is like monks make this like chartreuse almost, but I think Bouton is an Asian version of monk
they
drinks.
don't care about any flavour.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's just moonshine.
it gets.
Yeah,
Have
make it blind.
have you ever had chartreuse though?
No.
Oh man,
What is
chartreuse.
that?
Chartreuse is made by monks in France. This place called Chartreuse, and it's got a mouthwash-esque kind of flavor to
Really
it.
selling it.
And then you breathe in.
Yeah. Oh man.
And you have an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, you do. It's
Spiritual
like,
moment.
Yeah.
3 chartreuses and you are fucked forever. I've never done this man and I. Every time we had chartreuse together, ended very badly. Yeah, very badly.
Here we go.
There was
Yeah,
one
but
night-
guaranteed, no more than 3.
Justin
you are
was
dead.
at his pub and he called me to pick him up because he was doing a drinking
We were doing a
tasting
wine
session.
tasting. We were learning about our product.
And I turned up to pick him up. 5 hours later, we both called a cab home.
No, we called your wife.
Oh, that's right. My
We
good
called
wife.
your wife because your car was there, my car was there. And we're like, "How are we going to get home?" I know. We'll get one of our wives to pick us up. Well, they weren't our wives at that point in time, and mine didn't drive back then.
Well,
that's gold.
yeah. That was a big night. That was a big, and like I caught up pretty quickly on chartreuse that night, I believe.
Yeah, there was.
And it was quite the experience.
I feel we need a night on the tiles, gentlemen.
We just need a bottle of chartreuse. That's
Rogue Brewing.
Well, who knows? Soon we might be having that pour one out for our homies. If we don't get through this session tonight.
that's
right.
true.
So I was like, what?
That's
Just
true.
like, have you had a doctor's appointment?
No, we've got 3 characters that may be done.
That may be done.
That's true.
Have you thought of a dicey question for us at all?
I have recently been reading Watership Down.
Oh yeah,
And
Bellamy.
Oh no, that
I've
is
seen
such
the
a
cartoon
yeah,
adaptation of
that's
that,
all
and that
I've
was
seen.
depressing enough.
Yeah, just
Well-
rabbits with myxomatosis, right?
well,
That's what
not
it's
where
about.
I'm up to. But
Oh, sorry.
Spoiler
They
alert.
got myxomatosis. They
Isn't that
get
what they
dug
had
out
the red
there, they get-
eyes?
Oh, maybe. All right.
And they die?
Anyway,
None of them are dead yet. They're running away from something. But
The
it's a
disease.
very well, like, it's a very well written book
Yeah.
about something that is totally obscure, but
Yep.
kind of almost turns it, even though it's full, kind of almost turns it into like a fantasy saga,
Mhm.
even though it's just about rabbits.
so is it like 28 days later, but with rabbits for the myxomatosis?
As far as I'm aware so far, they've, one of them kind of had like this bad feeling because there's like,
There's a building. There's something being built.
yeah,
on the site
they're
that their warren
building
is in, isn't it?
something
Yeah.
on the Warren site,
Yeah.
and some of them are trying to leave, and they kind of like cross the land, try and find a new place. And I'm only very new, like chapter 5 or something, so they've only just found this other place, and there's something weird going on there. But like, just the fact the way they talk about it, and the combat between other animals and stuff, and the fact that he's written his own rabbit language really kind of almost sets it in a fantasy setting, even though it's literally just rabbits and things he's watched rabbits do, you know? And I'm just like, what's a book that, even though it's not fantasy, really, or it doesn't need to be a book, anything that's not fantasy, but really invokes that fantasy setting, even though it's totally legit.
I don't really.
This is what happens when you put me on the spot.
By fantasy,
hard
do
questions.
you mean like what evokes the feelings and the nostalgia or the vibe?
Yeah, like it's that quest.
It's got the essence.
Or
of
how about
it.
like a journey of a character?
Yeah,
kind
like
of
this
thing?
one is that it's that quest for something and the battle of, it just kind of, and it still invokes that story of like
Yep,
Lord of the Rings, almost like these
I got one.
5
It's an
rabbits.
epic
just,
journey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I got one. I think mine's a bit naff, but it's what first came to mind, so I'm just going to say it.
go for it.
The Da Vinci Code. When
Oh,
I
yeah.
read that, like, there's all that kind of mythology in the background. Like, there's a lot of lore to that book. And there was, there's a guy who whips himself who's an albino. And, I could see that being transferred into a world that might not be our own. So that very much, makes me think of that. I think that's
Well, I did the same. When I read that book, I ended up researching a lot because I'm like, how much of this is made up? Because there was so much there. And actually, I read a book afterwards called The Jesus Papers, which is a book that he read that he both based that story off.
okay.
And it is fascinating, like some of the stuff that, and yes, there is.
Is it like a fiction or a non-fiction book, the Jesus Papers?
I mean, that's a really hard question.
No, but like it's not a story. Like, is
No,
it like the Da
it's-
Vinci Code in a story, or is it like a researchy?
It's a researchy book.
So it's a non-fiction.
Yeah, it's based
book.
off
Yeah.
things that he's put together from reading things and put together from different
Okay, sources and
writings and,
histories
like,
and
yeah.
stuff. Okay,
people
Yeah,
that
right.
seem to be apostles but aren't apostles and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
I've got a list going.
Yeah, have you?
I do.
Okay. Can I jump in? If you've
yeah,
got a list,
go
because
on,
I always
you
think
go.
it's safe if I go, because if you're on your list, my book
Yeah,
is out,
yeah.
I'm stuffed, right?
that's true.
Because I got nothing else. Mine's probably Born to Run, about the
Bruce Springsteen.
barefoot running. So the whole concept about ultramarathon
Yeah,
runners
yeah.
and this idea of like it's actually more healthy. Or for a while back, it was this purported to be more healthy for your body to run barefoot
Yeah.
rather than with trainers, because
And you can get
actually the-
barefoot sneakers, can't you?
yeah. So it birthed a whole range of products and stuff like that. So, but this book's about the story of this guy that's just basically discovers this from these tribes out in, I think it's Mexico or somewhere like that. I can't exactly remember where it is, where basically the culture is that they're moving from township to township and they're actually running lots of marathons anyway. So it goes on about like how the technique with their running and the food that they're eating. It's all this like building up this momentum of them then basically competing in this ultra marathon kind of thing, and the development of this technique kind of with no shoes. It's really it's just a fascinating book about
How does that invoke?
well, it's the journey of them discovering this like almost not like secret weapon, but like kind of like this method, this old method that everyone's forgotten, and everyone's pouring all this money into
Well, you
research.
start with Luke as a monk.
yeah, secret martial arts.
Secret. It's the exhaust port just below the main port.
Yeah. What is it? Diamond Hard Body or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just like this journey of these guys just basically running these marathons and then just rediscovering this old way of doing things. It's kind of supersedes anything that we've tried to create in modern times. It's kind of like, the old ways.
I did think of another one, and I know this isn't going to be on your, but when I read factual takes of like war, sometimes like, there's a book that was made into a TV show that I love called Band of Brothers.
Yep.
About the 101st Airborne that went in. It's very American, and I know that the English were in the war first and the Americans trooped in, but just the idea that these dudes were at the front end, that invokes the Star Wars, those, especially when we got the Clone Wars cartoon, I often thought back to Sergeant Winters and, the guys in there. And there's one episode of the show in particular, because I watched the show before I read the book, where they're in a forest and there are just trees being evaporated around them, and they're in foxholes, and there's one guy played by Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block who runs from one foxhole to the other just to check if everyone's okay, and through this splinter thing. And then they come back to like the town, and the town gets overrun, and there's like bombshells and gunfire coming in, and all these new recruits hit the deck, and all these guys who have been through this are just standing there having a chat, looking at them like, what the hell are you doing? Because they're so used to being under gunfire and stuff that it just doesn't register to them. Like that's something that often that puts me in that moment of, how do human beings do something so amazing? What would we do in that situation when it's life or death? How do you even imagine? And I guess that's what captivates people about war stories as well. How do you actually capture what we would do?
To sidestep into that, I love that series as well, because my great uncle actually knew those guys.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was knighted in by the Dutch Queen for being. He used to, after the war, he used to fly around and find crashed plane sites and then catalog them and like pick up dog tags if there was a place that he could land. Yeah. So he created this whole system of finding crashed planes and stuff to catalog them, and he got knighted for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, wow.
So he used to, he knew all those guys and used to chat to them and stuff and has correspondence with them. So.
That's really cool.
He was a really
They're
cool
like
guy.
actual heroes.
Yeah.
All right, list us.
Look, some are going to be controversial.
50 Shades of Grey.
I've written some annual reports that should have been in the fantasy
My CV.
genre.
CVs.
And I was like, I'm sitting here going, I don't know how many non-fantasy books I've read. I actually haven't got like. I was looking around going, oh, Dear Fatty by I'm going to say it, and then I'll move on really quickly. The Bible, and then my wedding vows were right there in the fantasy genre that shouldn't have been there. All right, to be Ned Kelly. I think the Ned Kelly story, the kind of the bushranger story, going out in the bush and wearing this armor and being that kind of rogue that needs to take over, and I'm going to assault that bank, but find the treasure within and take it away. I think there's this fantasy. I've always thought about that as a fantasy kind of genre and wondered what might be like. Interesting when you were talking, Justy, about these guys being blasé about bombs and stuff going around. I wonder what that would be like in a magical world with people doing magic and being blasé about that. But it's it's magical, right? Yeah, right. I'll just heal you up.
Like
it's fine.
Planes flying over us. You think in a different time, someone would look up and go, "What is that demon?"
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah, have you Ned Kelly? Go back there for a second. Has anyone ever thought this weird aside? Does anyone ever look at Ned Kelly's armor and think about the knights that go nee? Because I do all the time.
Or the Black Knight. The Black Knight. Yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, it's the Black Knight.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a weird image in my head.
There goes that bit of Australian folklore for me. Thanks, Justin. And then my last one was, I wonder what the Steve Irwin story might be like if you thought of him like a druid or a ranger and his ability, I just went, there's something in that you go, this guy set up a whole reserve like de Montolio's grove in the Dritz books where these animals are free, and he pretty much talks to the animals and knows them inside out, and they bite him and he doesn't care, and he's got this kind of affinity. I thought there was this kind of fantasy-esque kind of feel about his life story as well. That's a good dicey question. Thanks,
I feel like
Lance.
I'm always the one that finishes first the beer.
Yeah, you don't want to drink it too fast. It's because you got a big tongue.
Wow. You got to coat that tongue.
Lap it up. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I didn't even see you lift your glass. You just put your head over the top of it like a cat. Now, if I recall, we're somewhere that has been dubbed the Mountain Camel Toe Mine, Gold Mine, and you guys are deep within.
It's about to be renamed the Stonebird Rest, I think.
Ooh, that's a good name.
Ooh, that is a good
It's a
name.
really good name.
Well, now I've got to have... No, okay, now it's going to happen. All right, then. That's it.
We see a halfling, little baby halfling,
Oh.
reaching out to his mother. Father giving him a pat on the head as he heads off to work. We zoom in through the years, and he's playing this little string instrument. It's made out of like a bit of a wooden box, and it's just got a stick in it and a bit of twine from the fence. And then he's heading off to school. He's got his school bags on. He's got his books in his bag. And he's learning to write his letters. And then, jumps forward a lot further in the thing, and he's in a room with a lady. Fades to black. And then he goes to university, and he's in this magical place where apparently if you can write well and you can sing well, the words become magic and you can cast spells and do all this wonderful stuff. Again, he finds himself in a room with another lady, and then a man, and then something that looks like a bit like a goblin, but you're not quite sure because it's dark and he's had a few many drinks. And then...
That's that chartreuse, mate.
Yeah. What race was Yoda?
If you'd have said Mind Flayer, that'd have been great.
Suddenly he's graduating and he's on book tours, and then he's in this little town meeting a rock man and a bird person thing, and he's setting out on a great new adventure.
So to clarify, there were no bedroom activities with the Birdman.
Fade to black.
Yet.
Yeah.
There's foreshadowing, Justin.
Oh, get away from my cloaca. Oh, fucking whatever it's called.
And then I think it's an apt version to fade in, or fade out, as you will, from darkness to the cheek of J.R. Lockwood, panning out to his eye, which is shut, his body twitching a little bit as rats are grabbing for him just out of reach, trying to drag him back so they can eat his corpse, maybe add to their number.
Mm-hmm.
Above him, we have the blue-feathered fiend that we know as Nycrin, getting ready to flame it
Burn,
up.
baby, burn. Yep.
Flame it up. And down the corridor, swinging a great axe with two hands and an immense might, we've got Moradius blocking a corridor, trying to open a retreat. And I believe we're in round number 7.
Lucky seven. Let's go.
And we are going to begin with Moradius.
So, sorry, can I, before we go to that, can you just tell me the disposition
give us
of
the
the
lay of the land.
individuals?
Oh, you can't remember?
No.
Okay, so to give you
Not for me, for the listening audience.
yeah, to give you an idea, you guys are at the opening of the tunnel. So if we go from the opening of the what do we call it? The JR and the Stonebird's Rest? The Stonebird's Rest.
AKA the zone of death.
AKA the Camel Toe Mountain. So
The fiery Camel Toe Mine at this point.
as you go into the tunnel of the Camel Toe, about 20 foot in, you find Moradius there. You would, if you were flying like a drone, flying in as you will, zooming straight into the opening of the cave. You go through and you can see the wooden shore up of the gold mine cave. You can go past, some of the crossbows and the bolts that are there for the guards. A little bit of a pot of food that's been knocked over. Moradius is about 20 foot in, facing off against 2 rat creatures that were the guards, who have short swords in their hands, while Moradius has his large great axe swinging with great abandon. The were rat to his right is looking very worse for wear, blood pouring out of him. I think Moradius himself would have a few chinks and chips in his stone.
A significant amount, I think.
Does Moradius bleed?
Demeanor.
No, he just
He weeps.
he weeps apparently.
No, what does he do?
He just gets cracked through, and fissures kind of open up in his body. It's kind of his integrity, structural integrity, kind of falls apart.
Oh, good. Immune to bleed damage. Good to know.
What's the height of the corridor?
About 8 feet.
8.
Yeah, it's not high at all. Moving further down the tunnel and around a slight bend just out of reach, but the light still emanating through here, roughly about 20 feet in that 20-foot square, you have the two figures of Nycrin and J.R. Lockwood. J.R. Lockwood on the floor at this point, unconscious, with directly behind them the glowing red eyes of a multitude of rats, but only the two right at the beginning or at the front being able to be seen with their short swords. You can see hands grabbing through their legs, trying to pull Lockwood back into their folds, and you can hear a lot of cheese.
Jeez, grommet.
We have been on the road a long time.
Yeah. Oh, gross. Yeah. Okay, Moradius, what are you going to do?
So as Moradius sees JR fall, which happened last round, is that right?
Yep.
He, his desire to kill these creatures and his fear of these creatures are equal, but his overwhelming task, which was to protect JR, kind of kicks in. Mm-hmm. And he disengages from these two to go and stand over the top of the body of JR.
He can't get there because the two rats are between him and JR.
And it's around the corner, I think, as well, isn't it? So
So
he wouldn't have seen JR fall?
Yeah, you could probably have seen the shadows through the lights of maybe a figure. Right. I'll give you that much. But you can't get there because these two are blocking that corridor. So it's you, the two rats, then JR and Nycrin.
Right. So
then you got to either chop these guys down to go through it, or you got to get out of there.
Yep, he's going to use his first attack to chop the guy that's really, really injured, and again trying to aim for that dagger of Don John Raskin sitting in his chest. Here we go.
He's got
so fucked.
I think tonight I'd really like to put a real emphasis on the description, being that it's our last game with these characters. So, I'd really like you to spend some time describing them and their feelings and their, let's just get to know them one last time.
So he looks at the rat that's almost dead in the eye, and this grimace comes across his face as he pulls his axe over his shoulder like chopping wood, and just comes straight down on the top of this guy's head with his double axe, great axe, for a 20 to hit.
Oh, that is definitely going to hit this were-rat.
Come on, Brad. Come on. Chop away.
And he does, and you 12 points of damage to this were-rat as his axe cleaves straight into its forehead.
You feel
not all of that went through.
That not all of that damage strikes him true. But what you also feel is the crunching of bones and the rending of flesh as a dagger flies out of this creature that is now ripped in two, falling to the floor in a heap, and the dagger bounces. Ching, 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 ching.
I've cut it right down to the daggers.
The magical dagger
yep.
that obviously dispatched this. Don John from the background, that's mine! One!
And then in his frenzied state where he gets another attack, he will reach out and grapple the other were-rat.
Just grab him.
Grab him.
Okay.
Looking up the grapple rules, when you want to grab a creature or wrestle with it, you can use the attack action to make a special melee attack to grapple. Not one size larger than me. Yep. A strength athletics check contested by the target's strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics check.
Okay. Oh, very fun. An opposed check. You know what I forgot? I forgot the dice tower this week. I did put it together and it was excellent.
As the attacker, I'll give you the score to beat, Justin. It is a 18 to beat.
Oh, 18. And now I can use my dex to beat that?
Dexterity acrobatics is what you've got.
All right. So I'm going to say the thing about were-rats, Brett, is that as rat-like creatures, they have a lot of dexterity. Their dexterity is actually quite big.
Very small hands.
Very small hands, lots of big noses. The thing about a GM like me is I roll shit. So you beat it by 12.
So he just picks it up by the throat and starts to just grabs it. And now I'll look up grappling while you guys do what you need to do.
You can kind of see a bit of a light in this creature's eyes as it looks at you, and you lift it from the ground. And while there's a panic there, just lifting it, just that act alone is not going to put its life in peril. Yeah, sure, it's going to grapple it. It's going to stop it from doing. And you see a realization in its eyes. Almost, you can read this almost as if saying, this creature would make a great addition to our nest. And you can see it start to try and maneuver its mouth around to try and get to your wrist at this point in time.
Lucky I grabbed it by the neck.
Yeah. It can't get there, but you can see that it's starting to gnash at you as the short sword drops from its hands during this time.
And they're the same size as us, right? They're still
medium creatures.
Yeah.
They'd be shorter because they're just smaller in stature, really, but especially from you. That brings us to our next character. Or our next turn, and that is actually the rats.
Here we go.
This is going to be fun. The rat that you have in hand, Moradius, is going to attempt to bite you. Again, the GM's rolls play in your favor as it gnashes in the air, just. And
26.
You can even see, while it hits you a little bit with one of its teeth, it cracks a little bit, chips off on the stone hardness of your raging form.
Yep.
Behind you, the two in the tunnel.
Behind me?
Yes. 2 attacks upon Nycrin. Would you believe that I rolled exactly the same thing twice?
I can, yes.
Would you believe that
they're 20s?
Neither of them got above 10.
Oh.
I believe I am having a night that was 2 6s.
Here we go. I reckon we should fight now. We should fight. That's it.
Okay, peek behind the curtain. See these yellow dice?
Yeah.
I like these dice. I have not used these dice because they were I've been using the digital version of the Essentials kit. The Essential kit. You guys suck. And I had put these in there and I'd been forgetting to bring them. So this is the first time in a while that I have actually pulled these puppies out.
And now you're remembering why?
I'm not using this dice anymore.
They look a lot like the beer we're drinking tonight, Justin.
Oh, they do. They're nice and sparkly yellow.
Put it in there and see if it disappears.
They look very
Do you reckon putting a dice in beer would make it? I'm going to try. All right. Reset dice, beer o'clock.
Where have those dice been?
Oh, did you see? Did you?
Yes.
The dice is gone, Justin. It's dissolved.
Just floating red numbers.
It's like an Alka-Seltzer.
It rolled an 11 in there.
Better than a 6.
It's better than a 6. I'm really worried about
You really
how to
can't
get this
see
out.
those.
No,
It's almost completely gone.
Oh, look, I'm going to take a picture of this just so our lovely people at home can experience the joy of this.
If you turn into a were-rat as a rock person,
Rock rat.
did you just be like, that'd be really good for hiding because you could be like a stone rat.
I'd really love to join the conversation, but I'm reading grappled condition rules, so it will take all of my concentration.
They were very simple.
Yeah, they're a lot more simple than the Paizo versions of that. All right, what's that noise?
Why is it taking so long for me to read them if they're
It's
so
your dice
simple?
in the glass, isn't it?
It is your dice in the glass.
Oh, it is too.
Don't choke.
6.
Cool. I like that. I'm loving this beer even more now.
That did nothing to help.
That's the percentage of the beer.
Yeah, and I had to neck the rest of the beer to get the dice
Nice. No, the wheels really are going to fall off
yeah,
now.
that's bad. All right. That brings us to the one character in the hallway who's up above his dear companion, J.R. Lockwood. Nycrin, you two have become fast friends over the last few days, weeks. Your traveling companions, acquaintances?
I wonder. I wish we should have looked back. What was the last thing I said to you?
So here's a question. We had a healing potion, didn't we, from the woman from the windmill?
Yes, you
we
did.
Who has that?
Adabra.
You did
You
because it was yours.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
gave
she
it to
gave
you.
it to you
Gave it
for
to you.
being a good potion maker.
Got it written
remember?
on my sheet right here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, I have not used that.
No, to my knowledge, you have not used that.
It's
either.
still on the sheet, and I've been tracking it as I edit.
How far are the rats away from me? Are they in base to base?
They are. Unfortunately, they are right in your.
So I'm going to
grill,
take an
in your
attack,
beak.
an opportunity attack, no matter what I do, whether I drink a potion, whether I draw a weapon, whether I cast a spell, whether I
You
fart.
could cast a spell that doesn't require an attack roll on you or your behalf. So if it was like a spell save, then you wouldn't get provoke an attack.
And I will say, actually, just casting a spell does not provoke an opportunity
Is it
attack.
not? Okay.
It is casting a spell that actually fires into combat. I believe that does that.
Right.
As far as I know, casting a spell does not provoke an opportunity attack. I'm not even sure what a potion does at this point. I'm not sure what North is because I just necked half a beer. But I rolled a 6. So what are you going to do?
I'm thinking, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
formulating a strategy.
Be good. No pressure.
No, that's fine.
Dum, 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 dum. It's a real tension. That's
So drinking a potion doesn't provoke, but administering a potion does.
okay. All right. Yeah, because you obviously got to turn your back or be a little helpless while you minister to somebody else. That makes a bit of sense. And I don't think we've been playing that casting a spell provokes an attack of
Yep.
It has
Okay.
to be an
Opportunity
attack spell.
Yeah,
So
it has to be
it
like
has to be
something
one
that goes
where
to someone
you roll
else.
an attack dice.
Yeah, which none of your spells do, really, do they?
Mine
Oh,
don't. I don't know about his.
Yeah. And I think yours is the only time it's come up because Nycrin's already always like flown away.
Sorry, it's only ranged spell attacks.
Mhm.
So not touched spell attacks.
Grabbing a companion
Yes?
is an action in itself, right? To fly off with them as a move.
You want to pick him up and fly
So
out.
picking him up to fly off, is that one move action?
I would let you withdraw at half your speed if you pick him up and fly,
As
and fly
my move
away.
action.
As your move
So I
action.
still have my actual action.
No, that would be your entire. You would use your so in order to withdraw. What's it called? Not withdraw in this game. It's called
Yeah, no, I think it's withdraw, isn't it?
No,
Disengage.
disengage. Yeah. Withdraw is how I got my first child. But in order to disengage, you have to use your entire action. So I would probably look. I think it's probably fair to say you could scoop him up enough to grab him, and because of the weight of him, you could withdraw half of your speed,
All right, let's do that then.
which
Yep.
would get you to
Moradius. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah. So you fly
So I grab him up
and
in a flurry of blue feathers,
Yeah.
a dazzling display,
okay.
and yet I take flight down the corridor like a torpedo.
Okay, you come across the rippled muscle of Moradius, rock hard, with his hand just around a rat man's throat, and the rat man's tongue is licking sensuously on his forearm.
Okay, that's
Can you not do that with your giant tongue?
that was just the tip.
Call back.
There we go.
To our very first episode.
All right, that will bring us to the top.
That'll bring us to me.
Oh, it will bring us to you. Can you? Oh, yeah, you've got to make a save or something, right?
Death save.
So as he's jostled about,
Yeah.
being carried by Nycrin, a little bit more blood than there was flowing out of him just seeps out a little bit more into the blue feathers, making him a tinge of purple. I failed.
Oh,
You told me to be
no.
descriptive.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Moradius.
How far is the wall from me right now?
It's a 10-foot corridor, and this guy was right, like, you are slamming. You are right there. It's only 10 foot wide, and there were two of them next to each other. So, you could pivot and slam.
I don't know what the rules are for that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play that.
Yep.
I know I can shove this guy and put him on the ground.
Yep.
I can continue the grapple, but I see these guys walking past me and I will yell, "Get out of here, run."
Okay.
And I will use the shove action to push this guy to the ground
Can-
prone while
can
still
I-
grappling him.
And I know that but just because I've got this image in my
Yeah.
mind now and I want to see it to fruition. Last week when we spoke, you asked me about wooden braces and a tunnel.
Uh-huh.
You want to shove him through one of those.
I really do, but I don't want to do it when my guys haven't
They're right
exited
there,
yet.
right next to you.
Right, so he can move half his speed.
So, because they can move right up, and it was only 15 foot that they had to move to get to you to be right next to.
Hang on. So
to
you said
them.
I was half my speed?
Yeah.
So that's 25 feet
20.
for me.
Boom. They've got enough to go past you.
All right, well, Moradius can move half his speed and we'll look for the nearest beam and we'll try and shove this rat
It's right
through the
yep,
beam.
it's right there. Okay,
I don't
let's
know
do
what
it.
to do here.
Okay, this is a moment where, you know what, Brett?
Damn rules,
you say
rules.
you don't know the rules. I don't know the rules. Fumbling through. I want to see a strength check. I want you to smash this fucker.
Like
I'm
a
going to
straight
give
up
him.
strength.
I am going to give him an acrobatics check or a dex check
Yeah.
to go through. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here,
Yeah.
but I think
We
if
will.
you can beat him by about 10,
Okay.
then you get to smash him through this wall. Now, I know something about grapple.
Yeah.
Being the grappler, don't you get advantage?
No, that's a different game.
Damn it.
What he can't do, though, is he can't move. His speed is effectively 0, so he can do
Okay.
nothing movement-wise.
All right.
So he can't oppose it. When I rolled a 12 on my dice
Oh,
with a +6 given a frenzy, that takes me to 18.
And it's yours Dex.
uh-huh.
Oh.
I also rolled a 12 on my dice
Oh.
with a +2.
Oh.
So you don't
Oh,
beat
dude.
him by 10, but you definitely smack him
Slam him into it?
into that. And that's enough to cause some damage.
The thing, Justin, is I'm in the middle of a frenzy and get a second attack.
okay?
So
Well,
he's
then,
going to go into that beam one more time.
hoist it on my own petard.
So let's do that one more time, and I'll try
Right.
and break the beam
Now-
with.
I soaked you in beer. Be good.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, fuck you. All right. What did you roll?
I rolled a bit better than last time.
I rolled much worse.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I rolled a 14 for a 20 all up.
Okay. Well, Brett, I rolled a 5, which gets me to a 7. So you hear a splintering as one of the wooden pillars disengages from the roof. Now, the other pillar falls down. Just roll Lindsay, you haven't done too much today. Give me a percentile check. There is a 5% chance. I'm going to roll a percentile, actually. And if you can get within 5 of my percentile on either side, so that's probably a 10% chance, I'm going to give it to you. What did you get?
Chance of what? Of it breaking?
41.
34.
Oh, that was so
so
close.
close.
So
Oh
close.
my
Like 2
days.
away. That would have done it too. The beam strikes falls down, and you see the roof actually like crumble a little bit, and you can see some rocks start to fall down as well. The beam falls to a way that it does cause a bit of a blockage. It's you can walk around it, so it's not like you can run through it though. It's enough that somebody would have to either go under or above because it's diagonally
Like
across
difficult terrain kind of thing?
across the way, so no one can run through it. But you also hear a bit of a as the mountain itself, the belly of the camel toe, starts to rumble. You know, you've probably hit some kind of spot that you've never seen before.
The camel toe's gotten a bit tighter.
Oh, that's what a prolapse tunnel looks
That's
like.
the dream, isn't it?
Someone's been doing their Kegel exercises.
So Moradius slams this guy straight into the beam and the tunnel starts to collapse. And
No pressure.
he looks around for JR because that's where the witty one-liners normally come from, and nothing comes in. He tries to make one up. Joisted on your own petard? No. But, and then he looks at the rest of the rats waiting. Still holding this guy by the throat.
All right.
Hang on,
Luke-
there's no way to get any more rats through. Is the tunnel's collapsed?
No, they can still get through, but they're a little blocked off. You're Moradius right now. What's your witty line?
I'm Moradius
Luke,
right now.
Yep. What's your witty line? Lindsay, I'm coming to you next. You got
Good.
some
I've
time to
already
think
got
of
mine. I knew it straight away.
it. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Linz.
Go on, actually, let Linz put money where his
Okay,
mouth is. Go.
I just rocked your world.
Oh, nice.
You did well.
Yeah.
You did well.
What about you?
I don't have anything. I'm sorry.
I've got as soon as Brett said, he turns and looks at JR. This is the first time that you've ever been limp inside a tunnel before.
Yep.
Anyway, so we're all not good at this, except for Lindsay. Yeah, that is hard. There you go.
Oh.
That moves us down to the rats. There's one rat that is lying on the floor. Yes, you did damage this rat, and I did roll some damage.
Did you?
But it is not. It's not by no means.
It's not on the floor. I'm still grappling it.
Okay.
I didn't let it go.
So you
I just slammed it again.
Okay, so you
Still got it by
slammed
the
and
throat.
slammed it again.
Oh, there's
and it's
another
the second
joist on
one.
the other side of the tunnel that it's going to get slammed into next round.
You can see other rats moving up the tunnel. This one tries to disengage, so let's do that first. Okay, this is far out. Okay, dousing this dice in beer, no good.
Try whiskey.
No good. Don't have any on hand. I wish.
So by the rules of the game, if you fail that, I get to shove you into another pillar.
Seriously?
No, I'm making it up, but he didn't know the rules.
There's so many triggers there. Yeah. What? 5th edition's amazing. Okay. No, he doesn't escape. 2 other rats move up the tunnels. You can see red eyes moving through as they scurry. Some on all fours now. Some a little more rat-like than before. Yes, we've got 3 ears. That kind of stuff that goes on. They get to the beam that is diagonally across, and that beam is really a barrier between you and them, and they can't really move through it because it is right there in their way. So they have to attack you beyond the beam, and it's impeding them.
A bit of cover.
Okay, I just changed my dice. I'm more than happy for that. That is a 17 to hit you. I'm actually not giving them any.
Who's getting hit?
Their bonus. I'm just giving them a. Oh wait. You know what? I forgot. This game has a rule set for this. They're going to get disadvantage. Yeah, that's more like it. Fuck me.
Dagnammit.
Yeah, dang. 16, that was.
Look, I'm just reading my character sheet for what seems like the first time. And I'm reading that a barbarian has an unarmored defense equal to its armor class plus its dexterity modifier plus its con modifier.
Oh, for goodness.
You haven't been using that at all.
You haven't been hit at all. Then,
So while D&D Beyond says my armor class is 14, it's actually...
Are you wearing armor?
No, I just checked that. And I think...
Because that's where...
Yeah, I don't think he had... I think he made a very big point
very
at the
clear
beginning
about not having armor, because I do remember reading that.
Yeah.
See, no point in reading rules. That's why I don't bother.
So I'm at 16 too, Justin, but you beat it, right?
Correct.
Oh, yes, that is correct.
Con 5, Dex 1, 10 plus, no shield. Unless you would count this were-rat in my hand as a shield.
No, but 4 points of damage.
Not all of that seems to go through, Jesse.
Yeah, you see a short sword flash through. The second attack with disadvantage, 11 and an 18. So it's going to be 15 to hit you.
No, 16 is the number now.
Okay, so boom.
Now that I've read my character sheet.
The second one is deflected both off your skin a little bit and the beam that now stops them from being able to run through this area. And you've really got a bottleneck going on with these were-rats.
That's
that
exactly what I
moves
wanted.
us down to Nycrin. What are you going to do?
I just want to say,
Something witty?
Not only is Moradius an intelligence 0, but Brett is as well.
Stop playing your character, Brett. Nycrin.
So in a fit of desperation, Nycrin, with the dead weight of JR attached to his legs, decides to cast Minor Illusion ahead of us on the exit on the way out. Not too far, like literally right in front of us, for a massive dragon roar.
Oh.
Can you do visual illusions and sound illusions?
So you can create a sound or an image of an object within range that lasts for the duration of 1 minute. So basically this massive, because obviously
of an object within range?
So you create a sound or an image of an object within range that lasts. Oh, okay. Sound of an object in range. So have to see it. I have to make an illusion.
No,
that doesn't mean right.
It's an illusion. You can make a sound.
Yeah. So knowing that the dragon is
I
around
think
the
that
area,
means in range. Like, you make the object; it has to be in range of the spell. I think that's the way I'm reading. That's the way I'm seeing that. The object in range of the spell.
Yeah, so he's casting at the mouth of the spell,
sound,
which is in range of your spell.
The sound and the object have to be in the range of the spell, within range of you. Like, what's the range of the spell?
30 feet.
Yeah, so you have to create the sound and the object
or
within
a
feet.
5 foot kind of cube.
Yeah.
So yeah, literally right where I am. The idea being is I'm thinking they probably know there's a dragon in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So if I make it sound like the dragon's at the end of the corridor, I'm going to scare the shit out of all the rats, or at least make them very hesitant to come any further in. So
is there a save that needs to happen?
Basically, if a creature uses its action to examine the sound, I guess in other words, to see like, is this fucking legit? The creature can determine that it is an illusion with a successful intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC, which is actually 12.
Can I just say, in every RPG system I've ever played, illusions are stupid. Like, they don't give you an accurate way to kind of like measure
success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it does is allow
I kind of agree with you.
creative players to step outside of the rules and find a way to.
Yeah, but shitty DMs always fuck it up for them.
You just did it beautifully with a corridor and a slam and that's the
I'm
way it
wondering
plays,
why
mate.
he didn't make the illusion of the corridor collapsing, but you see fear on the
They're halfway through that though.
What?
That region where it's collapsing.
No, it's kind of right above them.
I thought it was just one. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, you could swap to
Don't
that
play
if
my
you want.
character,
But
Justin.
I do love the idea of a dragon, and it's worked enough. Like, you're playing on a fear that already exists here. Like, there is no reason that I could think of, because these rats know. That's part of the story that you guys don't know is they moved here because of that dragon. They didn't want to be so exposed in the other place as to, so they moved into the cave because dragons can't really come into the cave. So you've played on a fear that's already there, and you give them a bit of pause. What are you going to do? You've still got some action left, right?
I'm going to carry on moving out towards the exit, shouting at Moradius to.
You have enough movement to get out of the exit and out of the line of sight if you want to.
Cool.
You can fly upwards.
Yep, I'm moving out, getting as far away as possible.
What exactly did you shout to Moradius?
Oh, something witty?
Get to the chopper!
He had to split.
What would I say?
This is what Moradius will react to, right?
Yeah. I got the little one. Let's go. There we go.
Great. Okay.
Where was that Nycrin voice from?
I don't know.
I've never heard that
was
one
Reggie.
before.
Nycrin's voice changes all the time. I was Reggie.
Yes.
Because Reggie is just my normal voice, right?
Yeah.
Nycrin's got his hand up JR's butt, using him as a puppet. That was that voice.
Like Chuck Wood. Lindsay, let's see what JR does. This is a moment.
More blood.
Hang on,
Eeps out.
how many have you rolled?
I'm not telling you.
Fuck. More blood.
I need to get next
Where's it coming
turn,
from?
I'm going to give him the healing.
Probably
potion.
a sword wound to his neck.
Okay. Thought we were going to say his butt.
Can I do a heal check, or have I used up too many actions?
You cannot do a heal
You'll
check
need to
this
drop him
round.
to do that.
You need to use my first aid kit.
Yeah.
It's in my pack. But,
Medicine check.
Yeah.
Just drop him to get the pack out.
Dagnammit, what took you so long? Come on, Q. We got to get out of here. Closer he gets to a mine, the more like a miner he talks.
Doesn't sound anything like a child.
Yeah, so you see
Are them Duke boys around? What's going on?
Don John Raskin.
I'll say, boy.
Yeah, Don John Raskin in a very excitable way. His fists are between his legs and his knees are coming up in a kind of gold miner's dance. And he's like, damn, what are you doing? Q, let's get out of here. And it's like he's beckoning.
He's had time for a costume change.
There's a stink in my boot.
He's beckoning. He's beckoning you guys to move forward. Come on, we got to get out of here. This ain't safe for no one. Dagnammit.
Proprietor.
My proprietors cannot. Yeah, so that, I guess right now, the ball is in your court, Moradius. Like, this is on you. These two are out of the tunnel as far as you can see. Well, you can't even see them.
Yeah. Yeah. So Moradius heard that little one's out. Moradius is dead concerned about JR and his welfare. Mm-hmm. He will slam this one were-rat into the beam that's holding up the other side of the pole, the RSJ, I'd like to think about it, some kind of joist above of his head, trying to slam that one down.
Yep.
And then we'll drop him and run on out of there. So he'll try and smash the rest of it.
Let's do that.
Just to be clear, he is not hindered by difficult terrain made by earth or stone.
Gotcha.
So he knows he can possibly outrun anything if it gets hairy in here.
Okay.
It's very hairy. There's
he has
rats.
An earth walk
as you're rolling
ability.
from outside, you dang was that a dragon? Because he wouldn't know that you rolled that there's an illusion too. He's just as scared as they are.
That's a 22 to slam this guy into the other pole.
Okay, unless I roll a natural 20. Okay. What I rolled was like a 20, but subtract 17.
Right.
So you obviously the first crunch of this pole falling down has caused some splinters. This snaps the pole all together and you can see a mass of rat and splintered beam RSJ goes flying into its compatriots at the back, pushing them back a little bit, putting them onto their back foot. They already look frightened and you turn and bolt out of there.
Shh, quiet in the tunnels. As he runs on out.
Yeah.
Not hindered by any rocks or rubble on the floor, just straight on through.
Okay. At this point, we're going to just move in 2 lots of initiatives because I think it's really important that we keep you as groups because I'm assuming you group up together. So I'm going to give you guys, while you've had your go, Moradius.
Moradius would like to go 50 foot in the air as well.
This is your turn. This goes to both Nycrin first and then JR Lockwood. So I'm going to go around the table a little bit in terms of that. So Nycrin, what are you doing?
So I'm going to pull out the, I'm not sure where I've got this situated on my person, but the healing potion.
Yep.
And attempt to...
In the exhaust port, just below the main port.
Yeah, okay, cool. And I'm going to drink it. No, I'm going to give it to JR.
Because you don't want an attack of opportunity.
And then, is this, wait, is this a moment like a bird where you drink it and then regurgitate it?
Baby birding him.
Yeah, only with Cure Light.
Yeah, that's right. With a couple of compressions on the chest.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to pour it into JR's mouth.
Yep. Roll the dice.
What was it, a Cure Light?
One potion of healing. Cure wounds, I think, is what
Cure
they call
wounds.
it.
So what's that, a D8?
You have D&D Beyond, which has items in it. You realize that, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I don't use D&D.
No, I'm saying him. The guy that's actually casting the potion. He could have actually added the potion to his D&D Beyond character sheet and then just clicked on use.
How'd you do that?
1d8 plus 1.
I should have drank it. 5.
Drink it. I don't care.
5. Oh, look at it. What a
Fuck you.
I get. Otherwise, I get. If you don't, I get to roll my final death save and I'll record it for the socials.
5.
So the potion of healing that you have, you begin to pour the magical red fluid from this vial straight down JR Lockwood's gullet. You can see, unlike you, he's probably got a smaller tongue, but still quite large because of his singing cheeks. While administering this potion, which takes the entire action, you can now roll 2d4 plus 2.
For what?
For healing. That's the healing that you give JR. 2d4 plus 2.
7.
7. Well, it was a minimum of 4, so you did okay.
First of all, I did was a 1. I was like, please don't do a double 1.
There's still 4 points of healing. At the very end of it, I hope that this means he's not dead, unless that third blood was the last of it.
Oh, great.
Oh, was that a C? C flat.
What happened there? Is everything okay?
It's all under control. Don't worry. Just get up. Let's move. Move and...
Did I miss it?
No, nothing interesting. Let's just go.
Rats.
Exactly.
So good. So good.
And you start moving down. You hear like some movement from inside the tunnel, but they don't seem to follow. A couple of javelins fly out of the mouth of the tunnel, obviously thrown from further back in, but they don't seem to be coming back out of there. And Don John's like, "Damn, dead cute dragons here. We gotta run. Dang nabbit, the dragons around here. We got to find some cover as fast as we can."
No, you imbecile. It was a spell. Just chill. Let's get away from here. And as I do that, can I just randomly just fire a firebolt down the tunnel way?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Just like it's more. I envisage that more like Han Solo running away. You know, he just puts his blaster backwards and then shoot. Yeah, that kind of thing. So you start running away. You have successfully stopped with that illusion spell. You've stopped any pursuit of were-rats. I think that's pretty reasonable to think that they're scared of the dragon. Don John takes a moment or two to stop being shaken as well, and you get to a far enough away place that you think you're fairly much safe to have a short rest, if you will, a long rest even. Ooh. It's up to you guys. You can set camp, but Don John just says like, "My proprietors are not going to be very happy with me. I do not know what I'm going to do now. This has put me in a right bind. By all means, I should stay back behind and make sure that nobody else goes into here. Perhaps I could, I might go back into town and hire myself a band of mercenaries. You wouldn't be interested in a new job, would you?"
What is this job entailing?
Going back in there and getting the rats. We could do that right now if I hired you.
Moradius is looking at JR and just shaking his head from side to side as if to say, there is no way I'm walking into those rats one more time.
We could smoke them out. Just, keep lighting fires in the tunnel.
I don't know how to make the sound of a rock band's head shaking anymore vociferously. Yeah.
Maybe later. We're on a quest to kill a dragon at the moment.
Well, I would task you. I'm sure my proprietors would be much appreciated if you could maybe escort me back to Fandalin.
Double the rate. Danger pay. There's a dragon about.
Well, there was a dragon about all the time, but look, I would reward you handsomely.
Sounds good. Hey, yep. Let's go.
Also, seeing as though you're going anyway.
Do you want us to make like a charisma check on that or something?
What for?
For it's hustling the hell out of him?
For trying to hunt? No, he's kind of, what a choice does he have? Fair enough. He either goes by himself or he doesn't, or he stays here and he might try his luck at becoming a were-rat. There is I did find online Don John Raskin as a were-rat.
Oh, really?
So at some point, some parties fucked that up bad, and Don John has turned into a were-rat.
That's great.
So we're going to rest here and into like.
Oh, I've already done it. I thought we had.
A long or a short?
I did a long. Sorry,
a long.
I want my
a
spell
long's a
slots
full
back.
night.
Yeah,
Don't care. I want my spell
all
slots
right,
back.
so he's happy. Yep, I am happy for us to stay here, and
I'm up in a tree.
You want to camp outside a rat cave that we just pissed off, thinking that was the only entrance.
You're not right outside. You're far enough. Like time's gone by. You travelled into safety.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You haven't just gone like 50 foot. Be like, fuck you, rats.
Yeah.
Taking that long rest then.
Yeah. You probably went for a good hour or so before you got to this point
with no pursuit.
With no pursuit. Yeah, correct.
Oh, that's.
Did we fully heal when we?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm alive.
I'm glad you're alive.
That would have been pretty awesome, though.
Could have been. It would have also left.
I would have loved to see what your party did without.
The
rock and the bird.
To the caves, to the trees, to the caves, to the trees. Moradius was super tired when he ran out of that cave. Super tired, like he'd expended all of his energy on some kind of frenzied rage. But there's no after effect on a rage in this system.
Is there not?
There's no after effect on a rage.
Oh, I did not know
Sure about that.
I thought it was a point of exhaustion. I thought that was the thing.
Yeah, is it written next to your AC?
Oh, snap. You're getting sass from the dude that doesn't read.
Rules. I read. I just don't read rules. I'm
There's
just going to point that
there's-
out. I'm not illiterate. Thank you.
Yeah. You've got more degrees than anyone else in this room. 50 degrees. of
No, it
separation.
doesn't say anything like that on the D&D
That works for
Beyond.
me. It works for me. Works for you. That's
Just
50%
reading what
of
I'm
the
being
room done.
told, right?
Yeah. Then you look at the whole night goes by, you rest up, you make sure that you've set some good watch on the camp. Nothing really untoward happens.
Talk to Nycrin. I'm not mad.
You don't know whether I'm looking at you or not because I got a 360-degree field of view. So I got my back to you at the moment, but I am looking at you.
But why did you attack that lady?
A contract is a contract is a contract. We had a deal. They broke the deal. They faced the wheel. I mean, yes.
You've obviously never dealt with bureaucrats before.
Oh, my word. Oh, no. Ouch. Why? What do you mean?
I'm just saying we could have. Yes, she broke the deal, and we were going to,
The idea was to clear them out.
We were going to deal with that, but we were separated from half our party in a position surrounded by rats. So it would have been better if we left first and then came back later.
In retrospect, yes. The rats, I thought, would be a simpler task to clear out. However,
to be fair, those rats were particularly determined not to die.
Indeed.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I'm just wanting to know, I think it's better from now on if you just let me say, go. I'm happy to let you off the leash because you were fantastic with the orcs anyway. But
that's in his second novel.
But
let you off the leash.
Where's the gig?
I had that under control. I could have turned that around.
Did you really?
I could have.
Are you sure?
I really could have. If you and firebolted her in the face.
Well,
which I wanted to do myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, JR. Next time you can take the lead.
I'm pretty sure I was that time.
Do a better job of it. If you'd taken the lead, you would have taken the lead, and we wouldn't have gotten to the mess that we got into.
I agree to disagree. Go to bed. I think you're a bit tirade.
What?
It's a word that we coined between tired and irate. You know how if you're hungry and angry, you're hangry?
It's a halfling term.
Yes. If you're tired
and
irritated, you're tirade.
Tirade.
It's the thing.
I knew a girl once named Tirade.
It's time for sleep and set watch. I'll take the first watch, no problem. Buckle up nicely in your sleep. Get a good night's rest.
We just have a long rest, didn't we?
There once was a girl named Tirade, and I didn't know her size. But when I bought her a nice big dress, I got between her eyes. Yeah, Don John, he's with a crooner. He wants to be a crooner too. He likes the idea of it.
It's like karaoke on the road.
You wake up the next morning and there's a couple of little bits of housekeeping that I need to do. So I need somebody for me just to roll me a D20, please.
Shotgun. 7.
7.
That would have killed me if that was my next roll.
It really would have
Get
killed
those
you
ones
too.
like now.
Yeah.
The dragon appears.
I was ready to record it as a socials, final death save.
To the south of your area where you guys are, you've moved into the woods a little bit. You're looking over the top of the Icespire Peak is sort of somewhere in the distance of you, and that big spine of the world, the mountains. But as it lowers down, the spine moves into the earth, and the low foothills to the south, you can see that there is a commotion. A dragon flies in the air to the south above a place that you've come from very recently where gnomes may have existed.
Oh.
But the dragon
Could have been the rats.
has taken to the air quite a distance away. And even from this area, you can see a little bit of dragon sign as it's reaping its havoc in that general area. And level up.
Yeah!
Oh, shit. That's going to do nothing.
Guys, if we can't take were-rats, can we take a dragon?
Not yet, we can't.
From behind.
Yeah. So your characters level up. Obviously, we'll get to that next time that we play, but you make your way all the way into Fandolin. You get into the town centre. You get to the town hall where Harbin Wester is, to the door of the town hall. I say, what do you want? You're not a dragon, are you? You have to tell me.
Harbin, we're back. We went to the mine. It's been taken over by rats. We killed some orcs for
By
them.
rats, you say? Did you deliver Don John Raskin?
We brought him back here, yes.
You've brought him back.
In one piece, you'll be glad to know.
I will say they did their job very well and they should deserve the payment from my proprietors. I'm going to need to contact those people. Could you please pass the payment underneath the door, I guess?
Plus the additional for the return
You
trip.
see like the coins start coming out one by one. 100 GP.
Is this a stone building?
Slips from under the door of the town hall, which is a stone building. Don John Raskin disappears for a little while and then comes back after moving from one of the trading posts, and he hands you a pouch. He says, "This is the extra that I did promise you."
Oh, thank you.
And there's another 100 GP in there.
Oh, thank you.
My life is owed to you. Should I ever be able to repay you
What, do you want to join us?
in any shape or hell no.
No,
I have found this group to be unorganized.
I could teach you how to croon.
I once knew a girl named Tyrene. She liked polystyrene.
it's time to go back to a decent meal at the inn, I believe.
Just 1 second. Can you pass through rock, being that you are rock?
No.
He passes rock. I saw that.
If there's rock on the floor, I find it not as difficult as others to walk amongst it, but
Never
can't.
mind. I'm going to get this blasted mayor out of here because he's been a shit leader and he's not helping his town at all. He needs to be a face for the town. You get, make them feel safe and welcome and feel like someone's doing something about this place instead of being a little shit.
You know I can hear you, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I will come out once the dragon's gone. Perhaps if you take care of that, I'll come out.
I'm going to just start campaigning and leave him in there. JR for mayor.
That's what makes you such a good leader of this party, JR. You have the priorities well set in your mind.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying I can't really get the people to do anything unless I'm the mayor, right?
Correct. And then you'd have a whole house where you could pass coins under a door. That would be
Yes, but
wonderful.
I mean, Anyway, let's go get some food and a drink and figure out what our next step is.
Excellent idea.
The man sticks in here with me.
Not for long.
And that's the end of tonight, sis.
Hey.
Well, you've all started
We
Yeah.
survived.
We did survive. Oh, bloody hell.
That
I
was
quite
some
liked
sketchy.
the jumping through the wood panels. Like, I've been thinking about that since you put that in my head last week. And I was like, how would you actually be able to do that? And I was like, you need something heavy. And then you picked up a rat and I was like, that's heavy. That's heavy. You need a couple of axe chops, but I reckon a rat
Just
would
want
do
to
it.
point out the immortality of J.R. Lockwood continues.
Especially if you had become a rat creature.
Oh, that would have
Imagine if you
never have
become a
died
rat
with the
creature.
new were-rat rules.
There was a moment where I was hoping that I would wake up with a 20 and just be able to go, stop, and then like trade myself to let the others go and like get bitten, become like their man on the outside. And whatever.